What's going on? This is Slate. Ow! Sorry.
So, I mean, first of all, congratulations on everything. I feel like it's been a very seamless transition. What, I guess, if people have seen the documentary, they kind of know, but can you tell us kind of what spawned Reincarnation and how it all came together?
Well, it was spawned off of me getting to a certain point in my hip-hop career to where I felt I couldn't express myself in a manner that I was living, as far as being peaceful and positive and just projecting out some music to speak to what we're going through as we speak right now. Because my persona as Snoop Dogg has always been the gangster, you know, the hardcore rapper. I just wanted to say something this time. I wanted to speak from the heart and deal with some of these issues that we face with, and not just make party records, but stop the party and deal with these issues, and then we can continue the party once we get past these issues.
It's interesting because I was talking to Nicki Minaj and she was talking about the persona she's created for herself, and sometimes she's like, as you evolve, sometimes it's almost like you get trapped by the persona that you started with. Did you feel like that at all?
Oh, never, never, because I always had control of my career and I've always had control of my persona. No one's ever told me what to do or how to do what I do. I just done it. I just, you know, woke up and got equipped for the job and did it. So as far as being able to transform into something more enlightening is special for me, because I've always enlightened people with the music that I made, but I never had a message connected to my music. And then it became a certain point with my music where my music and my lifestyle were two separate things. You know, the gangster lifestyle didn't match the life that I was living, because I was no longer a gangster. I was no longer living that life. And I had pulled away, so it's like I can't continue to make records in that vein unless it's project driven. You understand what I'm saying? I just can't just make a Snoop Dogg record for the hell of it, where it's just a gangster record because it has no meaning. It has to be a project, and it has to be something that gives me a reason to write about these songs.
Because there's an expectation. Like when we hear a Snoop Net record, people want a certain kind of Snoop record.
Yeah, it's what you've grown to love. It's like, for example, when you have a great actor like Al Pacino. I love him in Scarface and The Godfather. I really want to see him play those kind of characters again, but I know and understand that he has to play characters according to his age. He can't be that young, courageous gangster, you know, vigilante or whatever, because his age and his persona does not fit that mold for that character. So as a rapper, we have to tend to look at ourselves as actors, because when we playing our role, you can only play your role for as long as you playing it. You know, if you live in the gangster lifestyle, it's cool to just keep rapping that, because that's what you about. But when you're not about that life no more, you gotta rap about what you about. And to me, I couldn't rap about what I'm going through right now. I had to sing it with reggae. And when I do decide to go back to making rap music, it's gonna be project orientated, where it's for a reason.
Do you feel like that's one of the reasons, you know, hip-hop is criticized because it's a genre sometimes it's difficult to grow old in? Do you feel like that's part of it?
No, I don't think it's difficult to grow old in. I just think we the most scrutinized, you know, genre in music, because we wasn't supposed to be here. We were supposed to be dead and gone. We those ignorant, hard-headed, hood-orientated, you know, uneducated rappers who become millionaires, businessmen, educated, smart, sharp. We marketing promotional vehicles. We are the elite of the elite. We do the biggest deals when it comes to deals, and there's no movie, no TV show, no anything sporting event that does not have hip-hop involved. It has to have hip-hop involved, or your event or function won't go.
What's been the most difficult thing about making the transition? I feel like it's been a very seamless and effortless transition, but I feel like anytime you're making a transition, there's some sort of difficulty involved.
The difficulty was helping people understand that it wasn't just a name change or a gimmick. It was more of a progression. And to me, you know, finding ways to create different styles of music and get a message out and use my power for all the right reasons, as opposed to leading the blind down a dark alley. Now I can lead you to a light alley.
How good does it feel now? I mean, I feel like, do you feel like a weight's been lifted? Like, how good do you feel right now putting out the kind of music that you're able to put out?
I mean, you know what? I've always felt good about all the music I made, from the gangster music to everything I've ever done. But when you have black women bashing you and not appreciating you and feeling like you don't love them, that's a hard feeling on a black man. And now to be able to make records that the black woman can appreciate, that people can appreciate, it feels good to be accepted now finally for my music, and not just my personal, you know, behavior, but my musical behavior.
Do you feel like people, I mean, had you done Kelly and Michael before? Have you ever been on that morning show before?
Yeah, but it was different. It wasn't like an interview and a song, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know, you see the gradual growth of people wanting to know, you know, a little more about me. You know, a little bit, being able to open up a little more and just put it all the way out there. And they get a chance to examine, you know, via the documentary, to see my journey, to see exactly what I went through and what I'm going through, and the reason why I chose to, you know, make a reggae record and venture off into this world and leave hip-hop for a moment.
Do you feel like people treat you differently now?
Yeah, most definitely. But it's for the better. I've always had a different base of fans. Like, I never had just one style of fan. I never had like all blacks, all whites, all this, all that. It's always been a mix, and it's always been ages and variety of nationalities. So I've always been able to, you know, communicate with the people, because I don't like to treat them like fans. I like to treat them like they're my partners, you know what I'm saying? Because they're my partners. They keep my spirit going when I'm down. You know, I could have a down day, and, you know, one of the people who I call my partners could come up to me and say, man, your music really got me through some hard times. Or, you know, when I was 12 years old, my mother didn't want me listening to your music, and I bought your cassette, and now I'm a fan and my mom's a fan. You know, that to me is the thrill of victory.
No Guns Allowed is a big record. Very positive message. Your daughter's on the record, which is crazy. How did that song come together?
Me wanting to make records to get in the White House, me wanting to speak to all of this violence that's going on, and this gun violence and this negativity and this terrible energy that we, you know, exalt sometimes from public venues and these elementary schools, college courses, high schools, wherever these shootouts have taken place, we have to endure that pain. And the afterthought to me is, I don't want to hear about another one. And if I could put a song out that says no guns allowed tonight, maybe hopefully this is one day that I could prevent somebody from doing something like that, so we don't have to wake up to the news to another one of those tragic events. Because the Connecticut situation really touched my heart when those little kids got shot, and it was nothing that they can do. And I feel like, you know, we must use our power and our voice to try to make a difference. So I'm standing firm with the president right now, or whatever he's trying to do to make laws to make it a little bit more harder for you to get guns and background checks and all of that. We need to try to figure out a way to make it a little more difficult for those who don't know how to handle a gun. For those who do, we have no problem with y'all bearing arms, doing what y'all do. Continue. We speaking to those who use guns for gun violence.
You know, you mentioned in a past interview that there was a time where you felt more comfortable or safer with a gun than you felt without one. Now you make a song, No Guns Allowed. What's to be said about that transition and the evolution that you've made in that kind of mindset?
That I feel safe without a gun, because to me now I feel like by me having a gun, I'll have to use the gun. But if I don't have a gun, I won't have to use a gun. Then it forces me to use my intellect and my suave and my savvy and my communication skills and my ability to articulate, to calm down one's adrenaline and aggression. You know, because most confrontations, from my past experience, are based on a conversation. A conversation to end it, or not having a conversation and letting it continue until it has no end.